What is up, everyone? Piezilla 57 here with another episode of the Project Platinum podcast. And with me today are two returning guests. We have young Prodigy 181, aka Jayson.
What is going on, everybody? Back at it again.
And then also McD's Nuts 7295, aka Connor.
Returning with a working microphone.
That's what I love to hear. So if you guys listened to the last episode, we kind of went over 2018 and reviewed the video games and gave our thoughts about it as the year was in a whole. So I thought the next logical thing was in this episode, we will jump ahead and go over some of the games that are coming out in 2019 and give our thoughts on how we think this year is going to shape up as a whole. So it's going to be pretty simple. I just have written down some of the big games that are going to be coming out each month. So I'll be reading those, and then we're not going to go over every single game because that will take forever. But I'll list them off, and then if there are any of them that we want to talk about and give our thoughts on, and ones that we're excited for, then we'll talk about those. So you guys have any questions or thoughts before we dive in?
Nope. Let's go.
No.
All right, then I guess we'll start off with this month, January. And I don't think any of these games I have listed are out yet. I think all of these are in the second half and the very end of the month. So we have Onimusha Warlords, Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown, Resident Evil 2 Remake, and Kingdom Hearts 3. So those are kind of the four big games that are releasing this month. I know personally, I am super excited for Resident Evil 2 Remake. It's, as of right now, it might be my most anticipated game of the year. Definitely up there. I'm a big survival horror fan, which I think I mentioned in the last podcast. I never played the original Resident Evil 2. So I heard from people who have played it so far, I know the demo's out. They said it's fantastic. And it's basically just a rework of the game from the ground up with the newest engine that they use on Resident Evil 7. So, are either of you two excited for it?
Resident Evil? No, but Ace Combat? Yes. Man, back on the PSP, back in the old days, I used to play the shit out of Ace Combat. I did not know it was coming out, and I'm so happy because it was a surprise.
Okay, I didn't even know it was on PSP. So,
oh yeah, it was. It was like, I mean, it was awesome. I never got past like the third level because I was so bad, but it was so fun.
I've also not really heard much about the Ace Combat games in general. So when I saw that they were coming out with the seventh one, I was super surprised because I didn't even know there were 6 more before this one.
Yeah, man, they were awesome back in the day. I say back in the day, but like freaking 4 years ago.
Okay. Connor, you excited for Resident Evil 2 or any of the other games I listed?
I mean, honestly, I played Resident Evil 7 and I liked it, but I feel like...
You liked it. You were scared at the time.
All right. I was for first quarter of the game. I was being a little biatch.
It was very entertaining.
It was. I should definitely stream next time I do something like that. But from what I've heard, it's not like any of the other Resident Evil games.
Yeah, I think it's more like an over-the-shoulder third-person shooter style. Yeah. And I think it's more of the typical what you think of with Resident Evil 7 with zombies and stuff like that. But I think it's also a lot more survival horror at its core because besides Resident Evil 7, which was kind of true survival horror, I played Resident Evil 5, which has zombies and stuff like that and has some of the same elements as Resident Evil 7, more so with just like item management in your inventory. But in terms of survival horror, there wasn't any aspect of that in Resident Evil 5. It's just kind of a standard shoot your way through zombies, which I wasn't a big fan of. But
so that you don't like zombie games.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of zombie games, period. Shoot your way through zombie games.
Yeah. But Resident Evil 2 is supposed to be one of the defining games of the survival horror genre. And I'm really excited for it. I will not be surprised if it's my 2019 game of the year, and it's coming out as soon as January 25th. I already have it pre-ordered, so I'm looking forward to playing that day one.
You'll be grinding it day one.
Yeah.
We'll definitely look into getting it for sure, but I don't know much about it. And also all the other stuff you named off, I don't know much about either.
Yeah, I know Kingdom Hearts 3 is a really big game. I think that comes out just a few days after Resident Evil 2. And I think the last Kingdom Hearts game came out 10 years ago. So a whole bunch of people are really excited for this game because they've been waiting for 10 years. I know some people said it's their most anticipated game of all time, but I never played any of the Kingdom Hearts games. I've never played any of the Final Fantasy games, which I think are pretty much the same as Kingdom Hearts, just without the Disney skin on it. It's just not my type of game, so.
Neither is mine. I can't say I've sit there and like put hours into playing it, but I mean, I've touched the game and it's not my.
Yeah, I hope it's really good for the people who have been waiting for 10 years. I know some leaks and rumors and spoilers are already starting to surface on the internet, and a lot of people seem to be very disappointed from what they've seen so far. But hopefully, once the full game releases, hopefully it's what everyone wants, since they've waited forever.
Yeah, honestly.
Right, so is that it for January's games?
I think so. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
All right. So on to February, which is by far the most packed game of the year, at least of the announced games. So for February, we have The Walking Dead, which I believe is Overkill's The Walking Dead, which I always forget about, and it's coming out in February. I just have not heard much media presence about the game. So we also have God Eater 3, Crackdown 3, Far Cry New Dawn, Jump Force, Anthem, Metro Exodus, and Dirt Rally 2.0.
I see Dirt. I won't mind playing Dirt. I played Dirt 3 a lot on Xbox 360, so it was pretty fun. So.
Yeah, so I think Dirt 2.0 was just recently announced, actually, like maybe back in November, I think is when it was first announced, and then people were surprised that it's coming out so soon. I know I'm not a big racing fan, especially like dirt racing and stuff like that, so I'm not too interested in it. Connor, you're about to say something?
I was just saying that I've never played any of the Dirt series, although Greg did try to push Dirt Rally onto me.
Yeah, he'll do that. He tried pushing that onto me as well as Dirt 4, even though he knows he hasn't pushed that game on me as much as some of the others because he knows I'm generally not a big racing fan. But, you know, he tried. He tries pushing like every game he has on me. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Most of the time it doesn't. Don't lie.
Yeah.
All of our viewers, Greg's our buddy, or well, he's me and Chucky's buddy.
Yeah, he's actually my cousin.
It's a very
him and Jayson
relationship.
The best friends right now.
But he'll be back in town on Tuesday, which is actually he'll already be back in town once this episode releases. So he might be joining the podcast. So you might meet him down the road. Yeah. So Metro and Far Cry New Dawn are definitely the two I'm most looking forward to in February. Surprisingly, I've not played the first two Metro games yet. I've bought them in a bundle when they're on sale because they definitely seem like the style of game I would enjoy. And because I don't think they're really considered like true survival horror games, but they definitely kind of have some of the same elements, especially with the atmosphere. So I think they're games I'm really going to enjoy, and I'm definitely going to play through both of them before I get Metro Exodus.
Oh, it's a horror game?
I didn't know Metro was a horror game either.
I don't think it's technically like a horror game, but I think like the atmosphere kind of makes it seem more ominous, I guess. And so I guess in that sense, it's kind of like a survival horror game.
When I watched the trailer, it kind of just made me think of Russian Fallout.
Yeah, a little bit. So that game, I don't think I'm going to pre-order that and get that day one, especially if I have not done the first two Metros before then. But I'll definitely be picking that up when it goes on sale. And then Far Cry New Dawn is the other game I'm excited for. I've played most of the Far Cry games up to this point. I haven't played Far Cry Classic or Far Cry 2, but I've played 3, 4, Primal, and 5. They've all been pretty good games, And I like the idea of this Far Cry being kind of like a standalone DLC type thing. I think that's really going to benefit Far Cry, because Far Cry 5 with all the DLC they added, it just got to be a little too much. So I think taking all the elements of Far Cry, which the gameplay wise is really good in Far Cry, so I think taking all of that and condensing it a little bit into like a smaller map and region into a $40 standalone DLC, I think that's going to do wonders for the game. I think it's going to be the perfect fit.
Is it just an add-on to Far Cry 5?
Yeah, so you've not played Far Cry 5, but this takes place, you play as a different character. There's like 2 female leads. So I think you'll be able to play co-op just like in Far Cry 5, but the events of this game take place pretty much immediately after the ending of Far Cry 5.
Oh, okay.
So it does follow it. Unlike when they came out with Far Cry Primal, which was kind of like a standalone. It wasn't a standalone DLC because it didn't tie into any of the games, but it was just kind of like a standalone random Far Cry game they put together. That wasn't tied into anything. Whereas this one, they tie it into Far Cry 5 with the events that take place after the ending. So I'm looking forward to it, and I like that it's $40 as well. So I'll probably get that day one.
I would expect nothing less, honestly.
Yeah, and like I said, I think the size and scale of this game is going to be perfect, especially if it's similar to Dishonored: Death of the Outsider, which is kind of like a standalone DLC they released after Dishonored 2. I have not played Uncharted Lost Legacy yet, but it's assuming it's the same as that. I think it's going to be like the perfect size and scale for a Far Cry game.
I don't know. It's like my situation. There's no point in me really buying new games. But I mean, once I get in a stable situation, I might try Far Cry. And I know y'all try to pretty much push me to try to get it. I'm just stubborn, haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah, because also Ubisoft is implementing a new policy with their U Club points, and if you've earned, starting I think like March 1st or March 31st, might be the 31st. I think any U Club points you earned prior to I don't know, long time ago, those points are going to disappear forever. And I've played a lot of Ubisoft games over the years, so I have a lot racked up. And if you go to Ubisoft's store, their website, you can use, I think, like 200 or so of your U Club points to get 25% off anything in their store. So I'm probably going to do that to pre-order Far Cry 5 and get the game for $30 instead of $40 and use some of those points before I lose them forever.
Well, fuck, I gotta spend all my points from Siege, Wildlands, and
those you'll keep.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
It's any of them that you earned, I think, like before 2013 or 2012. So it's a long time ago. Any of the more recent ones you'll keep.
Well, all right then. Didn't know that. Just kind of scared for a second because, well, we all know the hours we put in on Siege. Jesus Christ.
So, do either of you have anything else to add to any of the games I listed for February?
I mean, I won't be really playing games February. I won't be playing games for like the next 5 months, honestly.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, are there any games that you're excited for that you'll pick up once you get back? Like you're for sure you want to pick up?
Oh, definitely Ace Combat in January, but in this month, don't really know. Just had to see, look around, see what I want to try out.
And also, like when you get back, since these games will have been out for a while, you'll have the benefit of seeing some of the reviews and seeing how the game's sold and how the final product turned out, because it's easy to look at all the trailers and all the hype and be like, oh, this game looks so awesome, but then it could flop in the end. So you'll have sort of that benefit, I guess, as well.
Yeah. I'm a big, when it comes to video games, I'm a big just compulsive buyer. So, you know, I had to try.
I feel you there, especially in sales.
You get almost all your games in sales. So we have so many goddamn games.
Way to go.
Does Anthem come out next month?
February, yeah.
Looking forward to that.
I don't know how to feel about that. It seems like it's Destiny, but better. So it does have some potential.
And look, Destiny is the shit. Okay. Literally just playing that. Anyway. Don't really think those here.
So, Connor, you're excited for Anthem then?
That and The Walking Dead.
Yeah, that could be pretty good. like I said, like it comes out next month, and I haven't really seen or heard much about it. Like it'll pop up every once in a while. I'll remember about it and be like, oh yeah, that's coming out soon. So because The Walking Dead, Overkill's Walking Dead is supposed to be more of a open world survival type zombie game, I believe. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
I was just talking about one of those.
Crackdown 3 is actually an Xbox exclusive. Crackdown 1 and 2 are on the 360 and came out, I think, over 10 years ago. And Crackdown 3 has been announced, I think, for like almost 4 or 5 years now, I feel like. And the release date has been pushed back so many times. So it's finally has a release date. It's coming out February 22nd, I think. Kind of like Kingdom Hearts 3. Hopefully people who have been waiting for Crackdown 3 for so long, hopefully it's everything they hoped it'd be, because Xbox doesn't have too many exclusives. So hopefully this will be good for Xbox.
That's disheartening, man.
Just like Spider-Man.
Because it'd be unfortunate for them to hype this game up for so many years, push it back to make it as good as possible, and then it releases and it flops. Like that's Xbox already gets shit for not having.
Then it come out trash. That is so disheartening. Well, yeah, because PlayStation's the better console, bro.
I was saying that I'm just looking forward to The Walking Dead and Anthem.
So yeah, that was by far the biggest month for games, at least of the games that have already have release dates. So moving on to March, there's only 3 that I have written down. There's Devil May Cry 5, The Division 2, and Sekiro Shadows Die Twice.
Well, I know for a fact that I'm getting this Division 2.
Yeah.
I don't really care about anything else. Connor, do you even get Division 1?
I have it. I just can't figure out how to download it.
Sounds about right. But no, I am also excited for Division 2. Yeah, Devil May Cry 5. I don't know when the last Devil May Cry game came out. I feel like it's been a little while. This might be the first one on current gens. I think some of them have been remastered.
I thought Devil May Cry 3 was remastered because I saw it in GameStop the other day, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's also a Devil May Cry game, which to me is just redundant.
Devil May Cry.
Yeah, that's what it's called. But I think that might be on current gen. That might have been early PS4. But no, it's a hack and slash type game. I've never played any of the other games, so it's not something I'm particularly looking forward to. And then Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. I know a lot of people are freaking out and excited for that game. If I'm remembering correctly, that game is going to be more of like a Soulsborne type game, which means it's probably not going to be a game for me. But I'll keep a lookout, and it might surprise me. I might give it a try eventually, but based on
that ended, Chief.
Me remembering that it's a Soulsborne game, I'm most likely not going to enjoy it too much. But yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm excited for Division 2.
When I announced it.
We'll see how Ubisoft deals with it.
Where's it supposed to be set at this time? What we said it
Washington DC, I believe.
What was the last one? The last one was in New York.
New York, yeah. So I think this is in DC. I know the story was not very heavily focused in the first game. I doubt it will be in the second game. And I think similarly to the first game, this game is going to be mainly based on with the end game in sight, getting to the end game, and then doing all of these strikes and stuff like that to upgrade your gear and get better and better.
One thing I hope that they don't make getting the platinum based around like finding all the collectibles in the goddamn game. Because that
was annoying. There were 293 collectibles in the base game. Exactly. And then with the first DLC at the Underground, they added another 88, I think it was.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it was really annoying. The one nice thing about the collectibles was you didn't have to sit there and look at a video to get all of them like you do some other games. But then the downside was in order for all the collectibles to appear on the map,
you had to do all the crimes.
You had to do all of the side missions and missions inside a district. So it took a long time for that. And I'm sure one thing they will add that I hope they don't add is the Dark Zone.
The Dark Zone is awesome. What do you mean?
Or at least if they do add some kind of safe mode option, because I don't like that concept in any type of game where you go in this zone, you're trying to mind your own business, and you can have anyone just come up and kill you and do whatever. I know they try and prevent that with the whole idea of if you start shooting at someone, you'll become a rogue agent and you'll be highlighted in the map for everyone else to see. But it's just a terrible concept. It's just not fun when you're just going around minding your own business, trying to do whatever, and in the back of your mind, you're thinking, oh, anyone at any time can be a complete asshole and just come and kill me and take all my stuff.
Yeah, it is annoying. I gotta agree with you on that.
Oh, if they do add a Dark Zone, which I'm assuming they will,
They probably will. I mean,
hopefully they do something differently and it's not a copy and paste of the first division.
You know what? Everybody I've talked to has played that game says they like the Dark Zone. So, I mean, assuming that everybody that plays it likes the Dark Zone, I'm just gonna assume that they're gonna just copy and paste that motherfucker.
Yeah, so we'll see. I know. So I was late playing the division. It came out in, was it 2012, I think? Or not 2012, 2014, 2015 maybe?
I don't even know, man.
A few years ago. And I heard that when the game first came out, it was really bad. There wasn't much to do. And then after many updates, it became really good, which is an unfortunate trend you're starting to see nowadays. But so I
wish that people could just make games good off the bat. Sorry, bro.
But I'm hoping. So when I started first playing Division, it was summer of 2017. So the game has already gone through all of its updates and was good at that point. So I enjoyed it. I didn't experience it at the beginning when it wasn't very good. So I don't really know how much it was different and in what ways. But so I'm guessing since they learned from all these updates and finally being able to make the Division 1 good, that Division 2 will be pretty good right off the bat.
That's what you would think, but I mean, you got so many of these games coming out that just aren't good off the bat. But when the first game comes out and is terrible off the bat, and then the second game comes out, you think they would learn from their mistake, but they don't, which is another unfortunate trend.
Yeah. So we'll see how they do that. I know, the first DLC they're coming out with is going to be free, which is nice. And I know with the raids and stuff they're adding, I think you can do up to 12 people. That sounds excessive. I feel like it's probably not that many, but for some reason that's the number that's coming to my mind with the number of people you'll be able to have in a certain raid or strike or whatever it was that they're adding. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully it'll be pretty good. Like I said, I enjoyed the Division 1. At the same time, it is Ubisoft, and Ubisoft doesn't always have the best reputation with these online type of games. So we'll see.
Well, I mean, you got the rare gems like Siege. That's pretty much it, honestly.
Yeah, pretty much all of their open world games are really cool setting wise and stuff like that. But in the end, it kind of gets a little bit bland, like with Watch Dogs, the First Division, Wildlands.
After you beat the game, there's no really point in playing it. Unless, I mean, for me, I like playing it because I like the game's probably one of my, in the top 10 of my games, it's probably in the top 10 of my favorite games. Just because it's really fun to me. I mean, there's all types of stuff that you can get into.
Wildlands gets really bland after you.
I'll tell you one thing that I really like that they did. I think it's really fun. Is was it Ghost Mode? I think that's so much fun.
Enjoy it, but I feel like when I first played it, I was enjoying it, and then I went back and I started over again about 30% of my way through the campaign and trying to beat all the characters, and I was just it's repetitive as fuck. I don't want to do this.
Yeah, Wildlands is another game. Wildlands wasn't terrible at the beginning. I played it shortly after it came out and had a good time, but it's another game where they just added a whole bunch of updates and new modes, which is one good thing about Ubisoft is they're generally pretty good at continuously updating and improving a game over time. They have so many different companies and teams. They have a lot of resources, so it's good that they are able to do that. So it's interesting to see how Division 2 turns out, especially at launch. Is probably the most at launch. How it is at launch is probably the most concerning thing.
I think for you and a whole bunch of other people, that's what it is going to be pretty much. Definitely for me, I'm worried about how it's going to be at launch too.
So anything else to say about 3 what was that, March games?
No, not really.
All right. So moving on to April, we only have 2, but they're 2 pretty big ones. First one is Mortal Kombat 11, and then the second one is Days Gone.
Oh, I know Days Gone comes out then.
So Days Gone is going to be another open world survival type zombie game. It's going to be a PlayStation exclusive, I believe. And I know a lot of people are talking about that they have zombie fatigue. There are all these different zombie games coming out. They're all more or less the same, and they're just fatigued and tired of all these zombie games. For the most part, I do enjoy zombie games. It's pretty mindless fun for the most part. So I'm actually looking forward to Days Gone because I think it's going to add a whole bunch of different elements and mechanics that other zombie games do not have. I don't think I'll get it at launch, but I'm definitely going to be picking it up at some point, and I have a feeling I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played much of Days Gone. I do know I am looking for an open world zombie game to play, so that might be the one.
And you might have 2 pretty decent ones coming out this year that you'd be able to try.
Exactly. I was complaining about that like a couple days ago.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how similar and dissimilar Days Gone and Overkill's The Walking Dead is.
I want to see a game like GTA but with zombies.
That's just Resident Evil Undead Nightmare.
Yeah, but I don't like old school. I don't like older games set back in older times.
Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, not Resident Evil, by the way. So, Connor, are you excited at all for Days Gone, or not really?
I haven't seen anything about Days Gone, or I haven't heard much about it. I'm really excited for Mortal Kombat 11 because I've played all of them from my time, so.
And Mortal Kombat is another game that we just recently got a worldwide premiere from at the Game Awards in December, and it's already coming out in April.
Yep.
And just a few days ago, they unveiled the official game art for it. So people are getting excited about that. Some people don't like that it's Scorpion.
I mean, I don't understand why people are getting so messed up that it's Scorpion. I mean, what do you expect?
He's practically the mascot for Mortal Kombat. I mean,
exactly. That's my point. Exactly my point. He's like the fucking mascot for like why get mad? He's like the fucking poster child for Mortal Kombat.
no Mortal Kombat character other than maybe Sub-Zero,
Liu Kang, maybe, or like the people who are just like diehard Mortal Kombat fans. They'll know Liu Kang, Raiden, however you say his name.
Yeah, so a lot of people are looking forward to that game. I might get it. Mortal Kombat 10, I think, is the only one I've really played in recent years. Well, it is the only one I've played in recent years. I don't remember the last one I played. I think there might have been one on 360 I played many years ago. I don't remember which one it was.
I'll tell you one I did play the hell out of. Mortal Kombat vs. DCU. I played the absolute shit out of that game. Like, an unhealthy amount of that game.
I was really excited for Injustice 2, but I never even got it, so I'm just really hoping that it's not going to be like Injustice 2 for me, where I really anticipate it and I just end up never getting it.
It probably will.
Was there a reason why you never got it? Is there any reviews or anything that put you off of it that you didn't think you'd like, or you just never got around to it?
Yeah, I just never got around to it. I played the first Injustice like a kid in a candy shop for hours and hours on end, never doing anything else. And when I saw that they were coming out with another one, I was so excited, but I just never got back around to it.
All right. Anything else you guys want to add about Mortal Kombat 11 or Days Gone?
Probably gonna try because I get out of basic training around April, so I'll probably try Days Gone.
And Days Gone, I think, was originally supposed to release in February next month, and recently it got pushed back, which is probably a good idea because of all the games are coming out in February. Like, I know few months back, everyone was saying that February 22nd is like the Armageddon of video games because there are so many big AAA games coming out that day. But I think a lot of them got moved, and a lot of them are coming out on February 15th now. So I think that's kind of like the new day because I think Metro Exodus was supposed to come out the 22nd, and it got moved forward to the 15th, which is something you rarely see in video games. But either way, between the 15th and 22nd next month, there's going to be a lot of games coming out. So I think it's good that Days Gone got pushed back to April. Doesn't have really much to compete with.
Yeah, exactly. I have to compete with a whole hell of a lot of games.
Yeah, I think it's a good strategy, good business strategy. I think it'll serve it well.
That's exactly what it was too, just a whole strategy.
Yeah.
If we're being honest here.
So moving on to May then, we have only 2 games as well. One of them is much bigger than the other. We have Team Sonic Racing, and then we have Rage 2. I'm looking forward to Rage 2. I recently played the first Rage this past summer. Played through all of it, played through the DLC, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was going to be a little bit too similar to Borderlands, which I'm not a big fan of, but I thought it was much better than Borderlands. It's kind of like a mix between Borderlands and had that Mad Max feel to it as well. And it ran really smoothly. The story was terrible. The ending of that game was probably the worst ending to any game ever. It just suddenly stopped. Nothing really happened. Not that the story was a huge emphasis in the game, but it was still a very lacking ending, even for a lackluster story. Rage 2 is, from what we've seen, looks like it's going to be a really good game. It looks like basically Far Cry New Dawn is going to be similar to Rage 2. It seems like same style, kind of like a post-apocalyptic type game. But I'm looking forward to it. Have either of you played the first Rage?
Nope.
All right. Well, so does that cover May's games then?
Yep, pretty much.
All right. So we only have 2 more games to talk about that have specific release dates, and then I wrote down some other ones that have been confirmed for this year but don't have a release date yet. But first, in June, we have Crash Team Racing, which is going to be a remaster of Crash Team Racing, obviously, from the PlayStation 1. And I know they not last year, 2017, I think it was. Yeah, they remastered Crash Bandicoot 1 through 3, obviously. And I think it sold very well and had a lot of hype. And a lot of the same people are now excited for Crash Team Racing. And I don't remember if I played the first one or not, the original on PlayStation 1 back in the day. I feel like I did a little bit. So I don't know if I'm as excited for this one as I was for the remasters of Crash Bandicoots 1 through 3. But it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't play too much of Crash Bandicoot. That wasn't my generation. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I am older than you guys, so it's more my generation than you guys. All right, and in August, we have Shenmue 3, which they just recently remastered the Shenmue 1 and 2, like a few months back, I think. I've never played those. I think they're Chinese, Japanese, weeaboo games, ARPGs. So it doesn't look like it's really my style. And I think Shenmue 3 was announced as a game shortly after the remasters were launched. So I think that's another one of those games that was announced and then shortly after it's releasing. And I'm assuming you guys don't have any input on that.
Nah, man.
So then, all right, so I have a few more games that are confirmed for this year but don't have any release dates. We have Animal Crossing for the Switch. We have Code Vein. We have Gears of War 5, Lego Movie 2, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, Skull and Bones, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, The Outer World, Surge 2, and Wolfenstein Youngblood.
I bet you're ready for Wolfenstein, aren't you?
Oh, I am ecstatic for Wolfenstein.
You Wolfenstein nerd.
The one off-putting thing is it's going to be co-op.
Huh.
So if you guys don't know, so I mentioned last podcast, Wolfenstein 2 is my favorite game of 2017. So I'm really looking forward to Youngblood. But if you guys don't know, Youngblood is another kind of a spin-off of the Wolfenstein games. So the Wolfenstein games, I'm pretty sure, is supposed to be a trilogy. And so it came out with Wolfenstein: The New Order, which is the first one. Then they came out with Old Blood, which is a prequel and not supposed to be part of that trilogy. Now it's then Wolfenstein 2 in 2017, and now Young Blood, which is a co-op experience where you take the roles of, I forget their names, but it's BJ Blazkowicz's twin daughters. You find out about their children briefly at the end of Wolfenstein 2. So now this takes place like 20 years later or something, 20 years after the first Wolfenstein. So you take the roles as I mentioned, their twin daughters, and it's going to be a co-op experience. So each one of you get to play as one of the twins. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. See if they're going to add in a co-op Mein Leben trophy. And I know they did say that you will be able to play the game solo. And I don't know if that means you just won't have the second player there at all, or if it's just going to be an AI. I know it seems like a problem with some of these co-op games is they're obviously centered and developed from the aspect of co-op. And sometimes if you want to play solo, like you can play solo, but sometimes if you play solo, it's just not balanced very well. And it's pretty much, it's pretty obvious that it just becomes unbalanced if you don't have that second player there, which does become annoying if you don't have someone else to play with. So I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm just hoping the experience solo is just as good as co-op and it doesn't feel lacking just because you're not playing with someone else. So yeah, that's definitely the game I'm looking forward. That's obviously the game I'm looking forward to most of these games that don't have a release date. I don't remember when New Order and Old Blood dropped, but Young Blood or Wolfenstein 2 dropped at the end of October. So there, depending on New Order and Old Blood, there could be a theme, and we could expect Young Blood around October. But like I said, there might not be a theme. There might not be any kind of trend there. So are there any games you guys are looking forward to of those I listed that don't currently have release dates?
Not really.
Not particularly.
I'm not really too up to date on the games coming out this year, just because I won't be able to play a lot of them. So
The Outer World, I believe, if I remember correctly, this is the game that first premiered at the Game Awards in December, and it's from, I don't remember the developer's name, but I'm pretty sure it's by the same developers as Fallout New Vegas, which is they developed Fallout New Vegas, and they're a company that's different than the company that developed the other Fallouts. So I think The Outer World is developed by them, and it's kind of has like a similar look and feel to it. And it was probably the best looking game and most interesting game that they showed at the Game Awards, since a lot of it was mostly indie type games. So I think that could have a lot of potential. So the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is coming out.
yeah, what is that game? I heard about it, but I never like looked into it.
So unfortunately, it's only going to be releasing on the Switch. But I played the first and second one years back on, I think it was the GameCube actually, and recently rebought them for PS4. So basically, it's kind of like an overhead type game with Marvel characters, obviously. You have a party of 4. You could play with 4 people co-op or with AI. And it's overhead view, and you just go around. You have all these enemies, and you have to just go through the story. And there's all these different Marvel characters you can play as, and it's kind of like Diablo in the sense that you have different attacks for each button input. And when you level up your character, you unlock more attacks that you can change and mix and match how you please. It's similar to X-Men Destinies. If either of you have played that, I might be a little bit before your time, but I played that a lot on GameCube with some friends. So it's kind of like that, where you just have all these different characters you can play as, you level up and get more attacks and powers that you can equip. And I really enjoyed it. So it's unfortunate that it's going to be on its Switch only, because I would most likely play it on PS4 at some point if it were released.
Oh, it's really only on Switch?
Yeah. I think that might have also been announced at the Game Awards. I don't remember. Then, of course, there's Gears of War 5, which is another big game. I didn't realize that was coming out this year. But I've played through all the other Gears
I
games
realized Gears of War still
with
making money.
Tyler, another buddy of ours. I've played through all of them. I haven't played through all of them with him, but I've played a lot of them with him, especially some of the more recent ones, like Gears of War 4. I had a family member who had an extra Gears of War 4 Ultimate Edition code that she gave to me, so it was very nice of her. And when I was back in Indiana for the holidays one year, we played through the entire Gears 4 campaign in one night and had a blast.
Yeah, how long were y'all up though?
I played the 5th. We were up pretty late.
Exactly.
We'll see when I get around to playing Gears 5. I'm sure I will at some point. I play mainly on PlayStation, as you guys know. But I do have an Xbox for some of the exclusive like Gears of War. So we'll see. And then another game I thought was coming out this year, but I didn't see on that list was Doom Eternal.
Sure, it's coming out in the fourth quarter or whatever it's called.
Of this year?
That's supposed to come out in June or July.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to come out this year, but I don't remember seeing on the list,
I know I scrolled
which I was surprised.
release list website or whatever it's called. It's just called releases. But it says it's coming out sometime towards the end of the year.
Well, if that's the case, that's another game I'm looking forward to and I would definitely pick up.
Never played any of the Doom games.
Did you play what was it? Bulletstorm?
Yes,
Free. It's like Bulletstorm times 10.
times 10. What should I write?
Up the intensity.
It's another Bethesda game, so it has really good gun or weapon and like first person shooting mechanics. All these demons you get to kill. It's really good. I recommend playing through. I recommend playing through the 2016 Doom if you get the chance. Like it's on sale a lot and you can get it pretty cheap. But it's a really good experience.
I've heard of Doom.
I know similarly what we were talking about with Division, Doom Eternal is adding in I don't remember the exact name of the mode, but they're adding in an option where you can invade either like I don't remember if it's just being able to invade friends' games or also random games. But you'll be able to invade others' games like as a demon. So, but luckily they said that there is an option to turn that off. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn that off. And I know Greg was saying, because Greg was excited for the game, he's like, I can't wait to invade your game as a demon. I was like, I'm turning that shit off. Unless there are any trophies tied to it, I don't want any random person invading my game and disrupting whatever the hell I'm doing. Yeah, so that's all. It's the entire list of games I have written down. We went through all of them. So for me personally, I would say the top 3 games I'm most looking forward to are Resident Evil 2 Remake, Wolfenstein Youngblood, and either Days Gone or Division 2. We'll say those are like the top 3/4 games I'm looking forward to the most this year. So, Jayson, what are your top 3 games that you're looking forward to this year? Would you say 2, 3 games, 4 games?
Probably Division 2, Mortal Kombat. I guess Days Gone. I want to try it out. I need a zombie game to play.
And Connor?
I'm definitely pro MK11, Overkill's Walking Dead, and Anthem.
All right, cool. So I think that pretty much wraps it up. Any closing comments you guys would like to mention?
When does Cyberpunk 2099 or whatever it's called drop?
2077, I believe. There's no release date. There's not much information at all about that game. So probably 2020 at the earliest. It might be like a PS5 launch game for all we know. But for all we know, that game it could be 2021 for all we know. There's not very much information about it, which is unfortunate because
Just a PS5.
Yeah, could be a PS5 launch game.
I thought they were just playing about the PS5 actually coming out. I'm not gonna lie.
Don't believe they are.
All right then.
PS5 or PS4's been around for a minute, so I wouldn't be surprised if they came out with one.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised about it. I didn't think it was gonna actual.
Yeah. So, All right. Well, I guess that pretty much wraps it up. Jayson, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter at KingPro6966180. Sorry for the name. Can't change it. You know how that is. And subscribe to me on YouTube at King Prodigy.
And Connor still doesn't have anything set up. So maybe in a future episode.
He's got a Twitter.
All right. Well, until next week, guys. Piezilla out.